Hello, hola, and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to yet another episode of Absolutely I Do Not Know What. We are doing a little bit of a behind-the-scenes look at my filming at Eastern Michigan University with the girls' gymnastics team. What I did was I set up an extra little camera just to capture some behind the scenes. It is a Nikon Key Mission 360 virtual reality camera, so this is actually was capturing all 360 VR, but I ended up just cutting it down and just zooming into to the parts where I was actually in the shots, or things are actually going on in the shot. If we zoom back out, let's take a look really quick. We're looking at the wrong clip right now, and the computer's running a little bit slow for some reason. But here we go. See, we can kind of see. Let me drag it around a little bit. We can kind of see that it was covering everything in 360. If I make everything smaller really quick here, we'll be able to see how much expanded in I have it. I mean, I guess I'm gonna have to go even lower to 25% here. There we go. So let's bring it down. So see, it's a pretty let's fit it back in there. Pretty 360 shot in 4K resolution. But of course, when you go wham and you drag it all the way in like that, the resolution, I mean, obviously you start losing some resolution. So let's go back to, I believe, the original shot that we had. There we go. So let's take a look. So I had 2 hours to film this intro video. Now I've done the intro videos for the men's basketball team, the women's basketball team, and the women's volleyball team. So the intro videos are those videos that you guys see when they run out into the stadiums that they display in the monitors on top, just to kind of hype up the audience and showcase the team. I shot those with obviously the help of a photographer friend of mine, Brett Moyer, who was a huge help when it came to shooting those, especially since the guideline was that we only had 2 hours to shoot with each team. So that made it extremely difficult. But this one was another level of difficult. So I had 2 hours also to shoot with this team. I shot it by myself, and we have another group back here, but that's part of the school people back here. So they're not with me with this blue screen back here. So I'm over here just, where did I go? I'm over here somewhere. There we go. Just kind of setting up the lighting, seeing, kind of imagining what it's going to look like in my brain. And what I'm setting up for right now is the profile shots. So just kind of introducing every player one by one, just kind of getting shots of their face, looking up at the camera, sort of medium close-up shots. I got a couple that were extreme close-ups, of just their like eyeballs pretty much, opening and closing, just looking directly at the lens. So anyway, so that's just me right here, just setting up. While all the girls are getting ready, I'm practicing. Obviously, what I got going on is, so I decided we're gonna place them in the middle right here. Let me forward so we can get a clip of maybe one of them right there. There we go. So what my goal was to place them right in the middle. I got 2 lights, one right here to her left, it's closest to us, and another light right over here to her right. And I'm backlighting her with this green light. Obviously, I was trying to keep a certain color because it's Eastern Michigan University, so their colors are green. So we were kind of trying to go with that. So I'm backlighting her over here, and I got another backlight on the floor. You can kind of see it right here in this shot, right over here, shining up at her. So I got one shining up at her, and at the ceiling, which doesn't really do anything with that ceiling. It doesn't matter. And one pretty much almost right behind her head. So what I did was I did just a couple of shots. I mean, we had to go through the whole entire team, obviously. So that took a while right there. Going through everybody one at a time. And I did all pretty much similar shots. So getting the steady cam, moving in, moving out, moving around their faces, things like that. Just for profile shots. After that, I had to quickly, and of course keep in mind that it's a funny thing. I showed up almost an hour before to set up for the shoot, and the gymnasium was locked. So I had to wait. Well, I mean I got all the equipment just waiting outside the gymnasium. And it was funny because I had a total of 2 hours by myself to shoot this entire thing. That includes all the setup for all the lighting, finding connections on the walls, getting all the cables out, getting all the cameras ready with batteries, memory cards, all that kind of stuff. So it was extremely challenging by the end of it. And they did keep it for some reason pretty hot in there. I don't know why. But I started off with a jacket, removed that, then went on to a sweater, removed that, and then I'm right here just down to my t-shirt, obviously, or just a dress shirt. So it got extremely hot in there. And this is what actually looks like. Here we go. This is what it looked like before I even turn off the lights. So we got the setup right here, 2 lights over here that I obviously moved later on. But the backlighting, just one outlet connection I pretty much had. There was actually another one back here that we found later on. And, oops, sorry, I just bumped the microphone there. And here's the difference right here in the lighting, I think. So we're going to take a look. I think I come over here and I turn off the light here in a second. Let's see, maybe I was getting a battery ready. Oh, there we go. I think that was it. Yep. So there's the big difference on how the stuff that you shoot comes out. You know, obviously, if I were to have just shot it like this, with all the lights turned on, obviously, I mean, it would have been easier for me, to be honest. And maybe I could have gotten some details of some other stuff, which, of course, for any detail shots, I could go back during the practice or anything like that and just get detailed shots of the equipment if I had to. So even if I missed something, I could go back. But if we take a look, I mean, a lot of people maybe would have just gone in here and just shot it like this, you know, with all the lights on like this. So big difference when you know, crank them off. So anyway, so got all the setup going on over there. So we went through all the profiles of all the girls. I have no idea how many there were, maybe 15 or so. Haven't started working on the video yet. Here we go. This is where after we did all the profiles, I had to move all the stuff and reset it up. And so here's where the girls started sort of warming up on this, and of course, forgive my technical terms, but I don't know the names of any of this gymnastic stuff. You know, I'm gonna say that they were walking on a pole or something like that, and of course, people are gonna laugh because that's not the correct term. I guarantee. So, anyways. So I captured these shots over here. We went girl by girl. They had about, like, I think 5 or so for each event that I captured. So, you know, I got a lot of close-ups of feet, upper body, shots of the entire, you know, performance, let's just say, or routine. And it was quite a bit of fun. I actually got some cinematic shots that were pretty nice. But at one point, I know I had the Steadicam, and then I just gave up for actually handheld. Believe it or not, just because of the ease of movement. I know not a lot of filmmakers would go with that, but just because of the ease of movement, and I kind of knew what the shots were gonna look like in post-production, at least in my head. Just like every filmmaker, we have a vision of what something's gonna look like in post-production, and then obviously it never turns out that way. So so yeah, I had a vision in my head. So even when I switched to handheld, I knew that it would work. I got a phone call coming in. Give me 1 second. And of course it's all skipping because trying to render the clip there. And obviously let's so anyway, so I covered all this. We got a bunch of shots here. Everything from close up of the feet, like I said, wide master shots, everything pretty much. Maybe there's 1 or 2 shots that I would have liked to have gotten that I missed out. But it would have required me to kind of just like move some things around, some of this heavy stuff around, and there's just no way that I could have done that in the time period that I had. Sorry. Had a little burp right there. Woo. Doing these sessions is kind of hard here. Gotta go live, and if you mess up, you just mess up. So if we move on to the next scene, we'll see that from here I switched on. We were doing the bars, and what I ended up doing, obviously this is like the whole 360 shot right here. So you can kind of see her up here. I got the camera, the main part of the camera facing, you know, her arm, or her hand, I should say.
Oh, yikes.
So, and this is just for obviously an action shot to sneak in between all the stuff. Depending obviously on what music you use. If you're using a very slow song, I would not suggest, obviously, going with a shot like this, because that would be insane. So let me do. And so yeah, so let's try to see it in 360 here. So, and this shot was obviously shot with the Nikon camera that I mentioned earlier, the Nikon 360 key mission camera. And obviously I would suggest maybe a GoPro for this shot. You know, this is something that if I go ahead, let's highlight this clip, let's hit transform, I could decide to just go crazy and kind of, you know, zoom in a little bit right there. Let's move to the side right over here, something like that. You know, obviously I would have to fix the shot a lot. But still, so see, that's really meant not for a main shot in the video, but more for almost a transition shot if I ended up using it. So we're showing a shot of one of the girls spinning around, like a master shot, you know, or a medium close-up of her upper body spinning around. Cut to, boom, this, cut to the landing. So it's just a super quick shot that, you know, if you decide to use, I got a rig that kind of hooks up to the arm or to your wrist, that then the camera hooks onto. So so yeah, pretty crazy shot, really. I mean, you know, again, without knowing if I'm going to use it or not for the final video. So again, right here, we decided to move. We were trying to figure out how to light this area right here, which again, forgive my my lack of knowledge in gymnastics, but not really sure what this was called. But what they were doing was pretty much running down, jumping, and doing some sort of crazy spin up in the air. So it's extremely hard. I ended up getting a couple shots, some steady shots from this area, sort of just having them get up here and just doing the spin off, just to cover myself. So there's what it looked like with the lights turned on. Here's what it looks like with the lights turned off. So, and of course I feel so bad for the girls because they had some difficulty, obviously, because of the change of lighting. It's so dramatic, you know. At some points I had light going almost right to their faces or stepping on this, so it was quite difficult for them, and I felt bad. But the first time, I believe it's this one. No, this was the second time, so I was already ready. So you can see me. I took placement right here. I mean, they're running from way farther back. So I placed myself sort of halfway so that when she could start running right there, I already start making a move right there. Boom. And I already started running before she even gets to me. And still, it was hard to catch up. I mean, but the first time was hilarious because the first time the girl just, I went from behind her all the way. And she took off running, and she was so fast. that I couldn't even. So right there is where I know you probably couldn't hear it well, but that right there is where I'm talking about how extremely fast she was going, and that there's no way that I could ever catch up to her, which was not a lie, guys. Or girls out there. I'm telling you, they ran so fast. I've never seen somebody run, take off in that sort of speed before. So anyways, maybe I'm just getting a little older and my legs don't work like they used to. Maybe the Steadicam and the camera were a little heavy. So I decided to go kind of halfway, meet them there. I can't believe my hat almost stayed on every time. That was surprising. But so we went through, right there. I changed the lighting a little bit just because I didn't like it. So we went through some changes in this, the final shots. Here we go. Let's take a look at that. That's just her running up, her running up, her running up. I think that's what we did. We ended up changing the lighting right there just because the original way that I had it was messing with their sight where they were running down. So I went ahead and took, I believe, this. I got one light over here, I think. Where's the other one? I got one right here, which is really close to this camera. That's why it looks all weird. And the other one over here, shining kind of down, maybe a little bit towards this area. So what I ended up doing was switching them up. So I had one more in this area, which I knew was the important area where they would step on. This is the transition area, almost this green right here. This is what I wanted them to go from green to a lighter area. And then I ended up moving the other one back here just to give them a little bit of extra lighting so they could see where they were running, because it was really hard for them.
Somebody to try timer.
So again, I think that's the same shot. So anyways, so let's continue on and take a look. Let's see if I can find one. There we go. I'm telling you, they're running so fast. Of course my computer would jump right there. I don't know why the camera's doing that little jumpy weird thing. Again, I don't think she made the landing, but that wasn't really the important part. So yeah, here's the last of it pretty much. Right here is where I just moved the lighting right over here, and I just got some more steady shots. Again, I decided to go handheld for a lot of this, and it was crazy. I would never usually go handheld, but just because, again, I was, keep in mind that I was only filming at 30 frames per second too. So I wasn't doing slow motion or anything like that. So the speed in which they were moving at was extremely fast. And I don't necessarily want slow motion shots in the video. But I did want to make sure that I cover every sort of transition shot that I could find in every performance, so that at least I could have something, cohesive by the end of it. So I went ahead and got a whole bunch of steady shots. Just them doing things, jumping off. Right here you probably can't see me. Let me go ahead and let's zoom in on this. Oh. Wrong. Let's try that again. There we go. You can kind of see my butt crack right there. I'm kidding. I was wearing long johns, so I don't think you'd be able to see my butt crack. And maybe that was a bad choice to wear long johns because this place was so warm. But again, when you leave out of your house and you live in Michigan, you never know what you're going to find yourself with. One day could be winter, one day could be summer. That's the loveliness of Michigan, I guess. It just hates filmmakers. So here we go. So this is me right underneath, and I think I'm positioning myself. I don't think I'm hiding from anybody. but I think I was positioning the camera, yep, just to get some shots of them going right over. Sorry for the pixelation there. Yeah, so right there I was explaining to her that the shot that I was looking for was really this shadow back here. So really what I'm doing is filming this shadow and then getting her, as the shadow moves and comes around, getting her in frame landing. So I believe this is one of the shots that came out. Let's take a look really quick. I know it's a little pixelated, guys. I'm sorry about that. And I know you're looking at the... there we go. I know you're looking at my whole screen right now. And yeah, I could have maybe made this video more zoomed into everything, sort of played it like this. But see, right there, it's still pixelated anyways, just because it's rendering. And like I said, this 360 camera is not really meant to get shots like this, even though you can. I'm telling you, it's a great camera to own anyways. If you do not have one, if you don't have a 360 camera, it's great because not only for the creative person, but the everyday family person that really just wants to capture cool stuff with their family. I mean, imagine most of us growing up, we were looking at black and white images of ourselves. You know, obviously some color photography, you know, depending what age you are. But that's all we had pretty much was photos of ourselves. And obviously some people have video too, obviously. I think my parents got some video of me at some point or another, but I was already like 10, I want to say, maybe, who knows. But with a 360 camera, I mean, you can do cool things like filming your child's room, you know what I mean? When you do, you know, you do that, I remember we went all crazy and did a room for our baby when he was first born. All decked out, you know, with cool little baby stuff, and a crib and all that other kind of crap. And just to get 360 footage of him, you know, crawling around that room and being able to capture it, and years later or decades later, to have your child be able to go look at that footage of himself as a little baby, and be able to sort of move the camera around, you know, look to see what part of the room he wants to look at, you know, and really be immersed in virtual reality, watching himself as a little kid. I think those would have been really cool memories for a lot of us if we would have had those. We would have been able to look at our surroundings, see what the room looked like, see what we did, you know, moving around. So yeah, so the 360 camera that I had, not only was it a great purchase because, like I said, for family stuff, but it was also a great purchase just because, like this, behind the scenes stuff, when you're by yourself, sometimes, you know, you want to capture, you know, some memories of you filming certain projects, and there's no way to have somebody there extra doing behind the scenes camera work, let alone, you know, if you're working, you know, by yourself and you're a run and gun kind of filmmaker like I am, and you're moving at extremely fast speeds. Not only is it hard to find people to work with, that's why I'm lucky finding the people that I have found lately, because they can move at that, you know, fast pace with me. But like I said, it's just great because you're able to capture some behind the scenes just sitting there, putting in a little these little light stands. I had some extra these little light stands. So I put it on the top of one of those. I put a 360 camera on top of one of those, and voila, it captures the whole entire room, every single side. So no matter where I was moving to in the room, you're able to, again, grab the footage and do whatever you want with it. You know, move over here to this side, you know, move over here. It's up to you where you want to go. I mean, this is obviously a dark shot, but I can show you with this a little bit better. So yeah, so obviously, look, I'm filming over here. Let's show, you know, me filming over here. You know, oh, let's show me filming over here. Oh, that's the end of it. That's where it cuts off right there to the other side. So the other side is going to be boom. So you can cover a whole entire area with this, you know, 360 camera. And I don't know how really we started talking about this 360 camera, why we're going so in depth in this 360 camera. But again, it's something that for filmmakers, if you're a run and gun filmmaker and you wanna, you know, get some footage of yourself filming, and you're not capable of having a crew or an extra guy filming it behind the scenes stuff, this is a great camera to own. Had to take a drink right there. Whew. Sorry about that. So yeah, so this project, I want to say I'm going to push it out within a couple of weeks, just because I got quite a bit of edits on my plate right now. Pretty much seems like non-stop editing. And yeah, it was an extremely fun shoot. All the girls were extremely nice. They all moved extremely fast. And yeah, I was able to accomplish pretty much, I want to say, 80% of the shots that I had in my head. At least the way that I had them in my head. I tried shooting them, but they might have not came out exactly how I wanted them. So, but yeah, overall, a great experience, just like all the other videos. I can't really wait to get working on it, you know. But again, I got a bunch of other stuff first to catch up on for EMU and some other clients. And yeah, so we're going to keep working hard. If you guys have any questions out there about my filming, about film help, if you have pretty much any questions, what cameras I use. I mean, the cameras, actually, let's talk about the camera really quick before I end this. The camera that I use is a actually, I filmed the other videos, the other intro videos for the other teams. I did it with a mix of cameras. I think we had a Sony, Sony AX something. I forgot what it's called now. We also had two Canon 5Ds Mark II, and a Canon 70D, I believe. Yeah, a Canon 70D. So all the videos we filmed with all those cameras, actually. With this one, again, because of the speed, because I was by myself, I pretty much only decided, I had all three cameras over there, but I decided to pretty much only film with the 70D. I had one of the other ones set up, but I never really ended up using it. So it was just it was just easier. So in the long run, it was just much easier to film with one camera, and to be able to accomplish it again only in 2 hours. So that's a lot of people to run through, a lot of different locations, or little parts of locations, little different routines or events that you have to run through with a whole entire team. You know, sometimes one of these girls might mess up or something like that, you know, so we got to scratch and they got to try it again. Or sometimes I might mess up the shot because I didn't know that she was going to spin that fast, so I didn't follow her fast enough with the camera. So a lot of those things happen that you have to, you have to try to cover, man. It's the film life. So again, if you guys have any questions for me, if you are a filmmaker out there, if you're even a business owner that just has questions, man, I'm really supportive of a lot of business owners doing creative work, obviously, because video is where it's at, both for advertising and for artistic work. I mean, a lot of people are just using video for everything nowadays. So if you want, please subscribe to my channel over here on YouTube, where I'm going to be placing this video. If not, if you're watching this from Facebook, just know that me and Facebook have a love-hate relationship. But if you are watching it from Facebook, go ahead and give this video a like. If you didn't like this video on Facebook, you cannot give it a thumbs down. Or you could probably give it like an angry face. Probably that's what's going on Facebook, is angry faces. So but yeah, subscribe, love, like, and hopefully you guys are having a phenomenal end of 2017, heading on to 2018, and hopefully we're all gonna rock it out and have a lot more film jobs for filmmakers, and a lot more success for people that want to hustle and work their butts off. So this is Ezekiel Enriquez at Film with Eze. It's actually technically at Film with Eze, but let's just, for simplicity's sake, let's just say at Film with Eze is where you're going to find my social channels. So that's the name for it on YouTube, on Instagram, on Twitter, because yes, I am still using Twitter. For some strange reason, I ended up finding that profile, I think, after 5 years of opening up a Twitter account. I never actually used Twitter, but I guess I had the YouTube account connected to Twitter, so every time I was uploading a video, it was going to Twitter. Anyways, I was just never checking it for 5 years. But I recently went on there and cleaned some stuff up, and so you could find me on Twitter, believe it or not, on Instagram, on LinkedIn too. That's also another one right there that we gotta do an episode about the awesomeness and the suckiness of LinkedIn. But that's a whole other subject for a whole other day. Ladies and gentlemen, have a beautiful end of 2017, and we shall see you again.